Ho ho ho, and what's going on, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another video, and today I want to talk about NBA Christmas Day. It's one of my favorite traditions every single year, where we get some of the most anticipated matchups of the entire season, all packed into one day where we're surrounded by family and friends, and a bunch of great hoops, usually at least. Sometimes there are some duds, but there have been some amazing games over the course of the history of NBA Christmas Day. Matchups like when Kobe faced off against Shaq for the first time since he went to the Heat. He dropped 42 in a loss where Shaq and Dwayne Wade both had double-doubles back in 04, when Patrick Ewing had 28 points and 17 boards in a win over the Bulls in 96, when Derrick Rose hit a game winner in 2011 against Kobe's Lakers as he continued on his youngest MVP campaign. There have been some incredible moments, but there's one in particular that whenever I think about NBA Christmas Day, I keep coming back to as the single greatest Christmas game we have ever seen, and that is Cavs versus Warriors in 2016. Today, I want to break down what made that game so special, what happened in the game that made it an all-time classic, and talk about why, in my opinion, it is the single greatest Christmas game we have ever seen. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Before we talk about the game itself, I want to set the stage for what made it so important. Back in 2016, leading into the matchup, the Cavs and the Warriors had just faced off in the past two finals, establishing a massive rivalry going forward. In the first one, Golden State got their first title in 40 years, taking down Cleveland in 6 games. But Kevin Love missed the series, Kyrie Irving missed all but game 1, and so it felt like there was a bit of unfinished business. And in 2016, we got the much anticipated rematch, with the Cavaliers taking down the Warriors after going down 3-1 in the series, completing the greatest comeback in the history of basketball, and bringing the Cavaliers their first title in NBA history. This not only evened up the final series 1-1, but it continued to deepen one of the best rivalries we had seen in the modern era of hoops, and the Warriors undoubtedly wanted to seek vengeance for what was a super embarrassing loss for them after going 73-9 in the regular season. And to even deepen things more going into this matchup, Kevin Durant was now a part of Golden State as a massive free agent acquisition, a move that made them seemingly unbeatable, adding a guy like KD, a top 15 player of all time, to a team that already broke the record for most regular season wins. It didn't seem fair, even for LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love, and the rest of the Cavaliers who had just beaten them in the finals the year before. Thankfully, we wouldn't have to wait too long for these two squads to face off, as the league set up a Christmas Day matchup between them at 2:30 p.m. Eastern in Cleveland. This game was almost assuredly going to be a classic, especially with these two teams facing off in two very memorable final series the years prior, as well as a pretty fun Christmas Day game in 2015. The game also had some momentum from earlier in the schedule, as the Knicks and Celtics began the day with a noon game in Madison Square Garden, which saw Isaiah Thomas drop 27 points in a win over New York, and this would continue one of the most fun MVP campaigns I have ever seen. I might make a full video on IT's 2017 season, and if you want to see that, make sure to let me know. The first thing we need to talk about when it comes to this matchup was the jerseys. These are some of the best jerseys, not just Christmas Day wise, but ever. They are so iconic, and it is both due to this game being fantastic, but I also just think they're really fun jerseys. And I want to use this quick moment to say, why did we get rid of Christmas Day jerseys? It was such a fun tradition every year, and it really added to kind of the magic of Christmas Day NBA games. Nike's already pumping out like 6-7 jerseys for a team a season. I don't know why one more is such a big deal, and maybe you could take away some of those other unis to still give us Christmas Day ones. I just don't understand why we did that. Nike, please bring them back. And even more controversially, I even like the sleeve jerseys. I know a lot of people hated those, but maybe it's just the Christmas magic. I thought they were fine. Maybe you hate that take entirely, but regardless, I think we can all agree that the Christmas Day jerseys need to come back. Nike, please make it happen. And so roughly at 2:40 p.m. on December 25th, 2016, the game tipped off. It started off kind of ugly with 3 turnovers and just 2 points in the first couple of minutes due to a Kevin Durant layup, but eventually teams would start to settle in, with Kyrie scoring a quick 4 points on middies around the 6:40 mark, while KD took over for the Warriors, scoring 12 points in the first quarter alone. A little past the halfway mark in the first quarter would come an iconic sequence, one that would really set the stage for just how amazing and classic this game was going to be. With 5 minutes left, LeBron hit a tough layup off a steal. The Dubs quickly pushed the ball up the court to Kevin Durant, who threw down a ferocious dunk, putting Kevin Love on a poster. However, Kevin Love quickly jumped out of bounds and launched the ball back to James full court, who is still getting up on the opposing end, giving him the opportunity to throw down a powerful slam. This feverish pace and high intensity would continue for the entire matchup and really set the tone for how this was going to be a classic moment. The two teams really wanted to beat each other. Golden State wanted to avenge their finals loss, and the Cavs wanted to show go, sure, you've got Kevin Durant, but we're still going to defend our title however we can. Dubs headed into the second quarter up 2 due to a late Klay Thompson layup, and he would continue the scoring momentum going forward in this period. He would hit a 3 and a midi in the early going of the second, while Channing Frye scored a quick 7 points for Cleveland. But Golden State would start to pull away, forcing a lot of misses, especially when LeBron went to the bench around the 7-minute mark. Then Kevin Durant re-entered the game, threw down a dunk, and Curry hit a 3 to push the lead to 11 points. Kevin Love would strike back though, scoring 7 points in just 2 minutes to bring Cleveland within 4. KD would hit a 3 while LeBron would get a couple good looks at the rim to finish things off, sending things into the break with the Warriors up 55-52. It had been a really good game so far, as both teams had gone on some runs and the stars were really showing out. KD led all scorers with 17 points while Klay had 13. LeBron had a first half double-double with 11 points and 10 boards, while Kevin Love led Cleveland with 14. Kyrie and Steph were both somewhat struggling to score, and while Curry wouldn't end up having his best performance in this one, Kyrie is someone you're going to want to keep an eye on for the rest of the video. Kevin Love would open up the third quarter by hitting a 3, tying the game up and continuing his high-level scoring. But KD came to prove something in this game and would score 9 points in just the first 3 minutes of the period. However, LeBron wasn't going to be outdone and hit 3 threes over a 2-minute span to bring the Cavs within 1. He would add on another 3 before the quarter was over, ending up with 16 in the frame alone. Despite all this though, the Warriors went up into the fourth up 7 due to another double-digit quarter from Kevin Durant as well as 9 points from Klay Thompson. In the fourth quarter, the Dubs would continue this hot scoring, with KD and Klay combining for 7 to open the period, ballooning the lead to 14 points. And it really seemed like the Warriors were gathering momentum and that this might even turn into some kind of a blowout, which was not the way we wanted to see the game go as NBA fans. But this is when Kyrie Irving shows up. With 7:34 left in the game, Kyrie drilled a 3. He followed that up with a layup and then another 3, giving him 8 points in just a minute and bringing Cleveland back within 3. The teams would trade buckets for the next couple of minutes, leading to one of my favorite highlights of all time. With 4:10 left in the game, 36-year-old Richard Jefferson caught a pass from Kevin Love on the baseline and attacked the rim, but seemed to be stopped in his pursuit of a bucket by Klay Thompson. That's when he suddenly rose up, throwing it down over Klay in one of the most unexpected posters of all time. This felt massive and like a huge momentum shift that would give Cleveland the juice it needed to continue to bring this one back. Then with 2:18 left on the clock, Kyrie would hit a layup to tie things up, with LeBron throwing down a dunk soon after to give Cleveland their first lead since midway through the first. However, Steph, who had been relatively quiet up to this point, hit a massive 3 to take a 3-point lead after Draymond dunk tied the game. But Kyrie had already had 12 points on the quarter and wasn't going to stop now. He had a layup with 38 seconds to go, bringing the Cavs within 1. Then they clamped down on one of the best offensive teams we've ever seen, forcing a shot clock violation and giving the Cavs back the ball with 14 seconds to go. Then Kyrie decided to give the Warriors some flashbacks.
Comes Irving, drives on Thompson. Irving spins, puts up the shot. It's good! Kyrie Irving with 3.4 remaining.
Klay Thompson played perfect defense on this shot. There was nothing more he could do. It just didn't matter. Kyrie was in one of those zones that he gets into where he will not be denied, and he had once again given Cleveland the lead over Golden State in dramatic fashion. Now, the Dubs still had 3 seconds left on the clock to go ahead and hit a game winner, and they did get the ball to Kevin Durant, who had easily been their best player on the night, but he would end up stumbling and falling over, throwing up a prayer at the last second, which flew way wide and gave Cleveland the win over Golden State that it so desperately wanted. It was a dramatic back and forth rematch of the past 2 finals, with the 2 best teams in the league going head to head and playing all the way down to a game-winning shot from one of the league's brightest stars, and all the stars came to play. Kevin Durant had 36 points and 15 boards in the loss, with Klay Thompson adding 24. LeBron had 31 points and 13 rebounds. Kyrie Irving had 31 points, 6 boards, 10 dimes, and 7 steals, as well as the game winner, and Kevin Love had 20. This game not only met, but even exceeded expectations, which is amazing for a matchup that was so highly anticipated. I remember waiting for this one and circling it on my calendar thinking, this is the game that I want to see maybe more than anything else. And it came down to the wire. It was an amazing performance from both sides, and all in all, it was the single greatest Christmas Day game of all time. It's a shame that the finals that followed wouldn't be as good, as Golden State was honestly just far better than Cleveland, adding Kevin Durant to such a stacked team. But regardless, this game was an incredible moment in the multi-year rivalry between these 2 squads, and it was in an era where I truly started to fall in love with basketball to the point where I am now, so I remember it very, very fondly, and maybe that's part of my nostalgia thinking back and considering this game the greatest Christmas Day game of all time, but I do believe there are a lot of you that are going to agree with me. I'm recording this video prior to any of the 2022 Christmas Day games, and I can only hope any one of them will come close to this, but I really don't think anything will for a very long time, especially when Nike won't bring back the Christmas Day jerseys, and until they do, I don't think anything is ever going to come close to what is the single best game we've ever seen played on the 25th of December. I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos. I want to thank y'all so much in this holiday season for all of your support over the year. It's been the biggest year on my channel by far. It's not even close, and it's all because of y'all. Whether this is your first video watching, whether you've liked, subscribed, commented even once, thank you so much. You have helped me out more than you will ever know. You're helping me chase my dreams, and I seriously cannot thank y'all enough for that. So I hope you have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all later. Real One Say Back.